Transportation and public facilities. That's what you're calling yourselves now? All right, it looks like we're on the air. All right, welcome everyone to the Highway Transportation Public Facilities meeting. My name's William McPartland. I'm going to be the chair. This is the vice chair, Councilman Jason Moskowitz. We've got Ray Smith here and Matt Yettle with us also, and our town attorney, Elena Finnan, and that's Kathleen, right? Kathleen also to take notes. And we've also got our town clerk, Michelle Martinelli, Pete Ravicka, Janet Wynn, Dan Bloke, and Roy Thornton joining us on virtual Zoom. So we have an agenda. That's our attendance agenda. We don't have the minutes from the last meeting yet for this meeting, so we'll do the review of the minutes at the next meeting. And we're also going to have public comment or privilege of the floor for this meeting. First, Roy, I believe you're here to speak. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so you have the floor. Go ahead.
Okay. I recently sent a letter around to some of the people in Niskayuna to see how they felt about the reduced mowing on the cap landfill and the low mow initiative. And I have a letter with 25 signatures and endorsements from the Hudson Mohawk Bird Club and the Schenectady County Soil and Water Conservation District. And I have sent it to Peter Rakvika so that it could be included in your minutes of the meeting if that's possible.
Yeah, we can get that included if we get hard copies. I don't see one here with us now, but that's fine.
Okay, well, it's in Peter's email. Is there somebody else I should send it to? I could send it to Laura.
Turn your mic on.
Mr. Thornton, Ray Smith, you can send it to me as well, and I'll include
Okay.
it in the agenda.
Very good. Anyway, we really appreciate the fact that the mowing on the cap landfill was kept to a minimum this past summer. We've seen some birds out on the landfill in the early part of the summer, and the mowing, I'm sure, allowed successful nesting and fledging, although we do not have a survey of that. So we're hoping that the mowing that the Highway Department did on the cap landfill can be continued for the next summer. I noticed that it's not even yet complete. The person from the Soil and Water Conservation District, Schenectady County, is a man by the name of Nick Klemzak. And he is possibly available for advice on mowing schedules and heights and equipment and so on. If there's a bunch of new members on your committee that would be interested, I can make another presentation like the ones that I have made in the past that show why the habitat at the cap landfill would be highly suited and important to grassland birds and to pollinators. As far as the landfill cap, I think I saw in one of the minutes of the Highway Department meetings that repairs are needed. And if those involve raw soil, filling, grading, and reseeding, a good option would be to reseed with mixtures tailored for pollinators and ground nesting birds. And to that end, there's likely available a no-till seeder from the NRCS for $12 an acre with, I think, free delivery. Seed availability with mixtures tailored to pollinators is the Ernst Seed Company, and also Page Seed. And I can provide links to that if you need them. And the another possible source of information is the New York State DEC Habitat Conservation Unit and the Five Rivers Environmental Education Center. Again, I could supply links to that. So that's about all I have.
Okay,
You have any-
thank you for that information. We have done this in other areas, I think in the town also, under some solar panels and that sort of thing. And as you're pointing out, bird habitat and pollinator habitats are very important, and we'll do what we can to try to, continue to have those areas in the town to the best of the ability that, our highway or parks department, feels that they can do that.
Understand. The one advantage of the larger part of the landfill at Blatnick Park is that ground nesting birds need a larger area in order to avoid predation from surrounding woods and bushes. So that's the best habitat for the ground nesting grassland birds.
Mr. Thornton, any of that information that you want to forward, you can forward to rsmith@niskuna.org, and we will, and copy Peter as well. We will start a folder and try to document anything that we do going forward, area-wise or seating or anything like that.
Okay, very good.
Mr. Thornton, could you just give us your address for the minutes, please?
Yes, 1337 Regent Street, Niskuna.
Thank you. Okay, I don't see anyone else virtually on the screen, and there's no one here in the boardroom. So I'm assuming no one else needs to speak at privilege of the floor. Okay, Ray, we'll move on to the next one.
Okay, we'll start with number 2. Obviously, we talked about number 1 in a minute. Crews are working on, as always.
Your mic, I'm sorry, your mic.
Okay, so number 2, highway crews. Crews are working on tree trimming, tree removal, resident request. Our hot box is out patching any potholes or anything like that around catch basins, and like I say, working off the resident request list. And we encourage people to call with anything that they have that they feel we need to look into. Personnel, at this time, we're fully staffed. We have one person out that sustained an injury a while back. And we have people filling that position on a temporary basis.
Just getting on that personnel and staffing, I'm assuming that we're still continuing to follow the protocols for COVID to keep our crews and our employees safe, correct?
Yes, we are. We're sanitizing the facility. Precautions are in place. Safety gear is available to the employees, and so far no incidents. So
Excellent.
number 4, Christmas tree. The crews will be picking up for the month of January. We do this every year. We put just a general informational thing on the website. No plastic bags, no tree stands on them, no ornaments of any kind. And the reason being is for many years now, we recycle these trees. So we pick them up, we bring them back, we grind them up, run them through our chipper, and we utilize the chips for different things in our trails in our parks. We use them down at the dog park for mud control, and we use them for um, sometimes erosion control in different areas. So all these things are utilized. Doesn't take up room to dump them, and we don't have to pay to get rid of them. So all benefits of recycling. Number 5, parks crews. They've been working in the trail systems, clearing brush, repairing washouts on the trail. Um, you will also see them in the near future cutting brush and dead trees along the bike path. This time of year is when we do our evaluation of the bike path. Um, as long as there's no deep snow and we can access the trail. Um, why stuff is not in foliage, this is the time to trim. It doesn't have as much impact on the looks of the trail and all that. And, they're not out busy mowing. So this is a perfect time for us to do that.
Have you gotten any calls or questions about the mowing and the trimming that they did on Rosendale Road that goes down there kind of along the river? I know that's not our road. Did the county do that where they had cut back trees and things like that
I
and brush?
I haven't gotten a call on that, but I do not know who did that.
Have you seen that though?
Rosendale, where?
Yeah, down, beyond the S turn, if you will, as you're driving down a little by the back ponds, I call them. I don't know what you call that area there. Before that,
Oh,
near the
yes, yeah,
bridge.
on the side of
Yeah,
the road. Yes,
yeah.
that's their boom mower. They do that traditionally. I didn't get any complaints over that.
Okay.
That just eliminates them trees from getting too big and actually curving into the road
Yeah.
during a heavy snow or rain.
It's
So
just more noticeable when you drive down that road. Matt's
Yeah.
shaking his head that you can see, They use that, as you say, a boom mower.
yeah, and
rid of
it
that.
shatters them, so it doesn't give that clean look. But
Yeah.
you'd be surprised in the springtime; those will rejuvenate. They'll turn green again. So.
Okay.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah, so we get calls periodically from people who walk the trails and, they see little washouts and would like them to be addressed. And that's how we identify that. Other than just doing inspections ourselves, we get calls from people and we try to accommodate that. Highway garage, cruiser, working on upfitting the remainder of the trucks from leaf season. Um, we do have all our plow trucks up and ready for any storm that may come. We just break down a few extras so that we have backups in case of a major breakdown. We're not without a truck in all our routes. So our routes consist of 9 trucks, 2 men per truck. So that's vital to getting through the town in a timely manner, 3.5 to 4 hours, one time through. So a continuous storm, the crews go through 2 to 3 times. So just an idea of how that works. Number 7, items of interest. This is just something, some emails I got from the supervisor and deputy supervisor. Dean Street Park update. There was some concerns about an email going through. I believe it was previous to the beginning of the year, and now it has been re-brought up at this time. So Dean Street Park, the signs were installed. We ordered new signs for Dean Street Park, identifying that it's a private park to help facilitate with the board that's over there and their concerns of people from the outside using the park. I know Laura was involved in some of the signage, and the attorneys at the time were, for the language, worked with the board over there at Dean Street. So the signs have been installed. The solar lighting, I have talked to Dick Fritz, who does the maintenance over there, the mowing and He has the contract. He's kind of the liaison as far as stuff like that between the board of Dean Street and myself. So I'm thinking in the spring, he will meet with them, pick up what type of lighting. They're going with a solar lighting, so no electrical will have to be run, and it just kind of identifies the sign, I believe is the goal there. There is one other item that was added on about a resident that borders Dean Street Park that had a tree removed. There's kind of a boundary line dispute as far as it was portrayed to me that it was on private property. We didn't get involved into it deep enough. I don't believe it's our responsibility to do a survey and figure out lines and stuff like that. But people familiar with the area said that there were stakes identified and there was plot plans sought after that identified the tree as being on a private property. So that part of that email may need to go to legal to at least do a notice. Like I say, I don't know how deep our responsibilities to say that we're not, he's looking for reimbursement. So I can forward that to Elena. I think there needs to be at least some resolve, either a letter from in response from the board of Dean Street or through us, or, we're kind of the stewards there, but we're not the governing body. So I will forward that to you, and hopefully that will resolve all the issues that were on that email. Part B, River Road Park Playground. Got an email regarding the fabric around the catch basins there. Apparently, people over the last vacation here was seeking to use the playground, and it was a concern that it was all wet around the playground. I did go over and check the fabric. There is still some open dirt, and that needs to be reestablished as grass. So there is always a chance of some sediment going into them catch basins. Them socks are designed to let water through, but not mud. At this point in time, I will leave the socks there until springtime when we can reseed and let that be established. I think the problem is right now that the socks freeze,
Yeah.
and it is December. It's you might get a nice day, but it's not, in my opinion, prime playground time. So we're going to leave the socks in place because of the erosion. The damage would be far more if we remove them and let that kind of siltation go in our lines.
You're the expert, you know.
So number 8, open discussion. I use this for anybody or any of you if you want me to look into something, or if you have questions about something we're doing, I can try to address them the best I can.
Councilman?
I don't have anything. The only thing I was aware of was the issue with the drainage at River Road Park, but it sounds like that was taken care of. That was the only thing I was aware of.
I see our town planner has joined our meeting. Laura, do you have anything you need to add to the agenda or want to speak about?
No, I just wanted to thank Ray and Patty for our last minute tree order. I did it on the very last day of the year when everybody was not working, and Patty's been amazing, for the record.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
Matt, anything?
One thing I was going to mention in my meeting, but right next Wednesday, the Schenectady County Water Quality Coordinating Committee is hosting a erosion and sediment control training for municipal operations, the good housekeeping that they do annually. One good thing this year is it is virtual. So it's at 8:00 in the morning, and the water and sewer crew is going to view it from our facility. I can share the information with you if you want to make it available to your staff as well. There's no test. No, we're just going to have one login, and we're going to watch it in the.
Yes, I would appreciate
Yeah, absolutely.
And is that creditable to our, what we?
It goes towards our education of our staff for our MS4 permit.
Yes,
Mhm.
or that would be good, and that is Wednesday?
That's Wednesday, 8 o'clock.
Thank you, Matt.
Mhm.
Ray left off one thing that usually I have on my prior committee for the police and public safety. Winter parking rules. We're just going to mention that the winter parking rules are in effect here at the town, so there's no overnight parking. Due to that, we do have snow coming down. We need our crews to be able to plow the roads. So just a reminder for the residents. You're welcome. And our next meeting is February 3rd, is that correct? Check my calendar. Yep, February 3rd at 8 a.m. Anybody have anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you. Everybody, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you. Seth, are we just staying on the air then for the 5 minutes? Just going to keep it open?
What's that?
I said, we're still on the air. We're going to keep it open like that. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
because otherwise we have to do another link, then we lose people in transition, so.
Okay, no problem.
uh,
Very good. We'll just pause for 5 minutes.
This is Roy Thornton.
Yes, Roy?
It would be helpful to some of us who can't see through masks if you could have name plates in front of your seats.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Or we could introduce ourselves, because, right, we see everyone's name on the screen, but not here at the dais. Okay. I don't know that we have name tags for everyone. I mean, the board members have name plates, but not the department heads. Thank you for that suggestion.
Councilman McPartlin, it's Michelle. I could work on that if everybody is in agreement with it.
Well, it might be good not just for this meeting, but for others also.
Correct. Yep. I can see what I could do with that.
Okay, thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Well, I thank you for the opportunity to address the meeting, and I will maybe see you next month.
Thank you.
Visual thing. I mean, you got them at the supermarket, you know, right?
What's the name of that? That's why we have. They said they don't have names for that. Is it called bio? Is that what it is? You have bio. Yeah.
Yep.
Is that bio?
Getting ready? All right.
But what else could that be? People like it.
Okay, it's 8:30, so we're going to start our Water and Sewer and Engineering Committee meeting for January 6, 8:30. My name is Bill McPartlin. I'm the committee chair. We've got Councilman Jason Moskowitz here as vice chair. We have Ray Smith, Matt Yetto, Elena Finnan, Kathleen Parsons, right? Laura Robertson, and Dan Bulkey here with us in the meeting. And one of the residents had asked about possible name tags up here at the dais and around the room, or we'll introduce ourselves again so make people, anybody watching might know who we are. Okay, Matt, we're ready to start.
Okay, so the first item is the review and approval of the minutes from December. Kathy went through and did a great job getting those together for us. They were emailed out with the packet earlier this week. If there's any comments or concerns. Does anyone-
Myself, and I don't think Councilman Moskowitz, you weren't at that meeting either, correct? So
Yeah.
we'll abstain from that. I did review the minutes.
Okay.
And we'll have a motion to accept those minutes, and the members that are here can prove that who were at the meeting.
Okay.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second for the approval of those?
A second.
And all the members that were there at that meeting?
Aye.
Great.
Okay, so the second item, admin engineering, just an update on our COVID-19 response. We currently have 4 staff members from the department that are either at home sick or isolated due to COVID exposure. Majority of the exposures occurred outside of work, but we are adhering to our policies. In fact, I updated them recently to reflect some of the new timeframes that the guidance we were provided by the county. I think our original one said 14 days, and now we've knocked it down to 10 days.
Right, the county has not adopted the 5-day.
Yeah.
They are still staying with the 10-day.
So we're eagerly awaiting them returning to work so that we can get back to some of the projects we're working on. But we'll continue on with our procedures. They involve mask wearing, sanitation of vehicles and workspaces, maximizing separation by staggered lunches and at our plants, especially where we have smaller crews where an infection would have an even greater impact. We're trying to maximize separation at the plants and having certain individuals work in separate office spaces and not even congregating throughout the day and having separate lunches and things like that. We have several, I would say more than half of the workers are vaccinated. So we'll continue to promote vaccination and boostering as well. Attorney's items. I spoke to Elena just before the meeting regarding some of these. Some of these are ongoing projects. The Pierce Road sewer extension. We'll be working together on that. I don't have an update at this point. I think we're going to have a meeting separate from this meeting as well to go over some of the outstanding legal projects so that we can move forward on some of these pieces of other projects so that we can move them to get some resolution on some of the issues and concerns. So the second one down, the city water bill, that's another one that I will bring her up to speed on where we stand with that. The negotiations that there have been ongoing for quite some time, and I'd like to move forward and get that resolved. And the Dish Network, that was left at the last meeting. Paul Briggs stated that he was awaiting Dish Network to respond to some of the comments that he had made. We had made some requests as part of their use of our water tower that they would take some of the equipment down so to make room and to minimize the structural impact on the tank. So they're working on that, and they'll get back to us and move forward with that
Is
as
this
well.
their equipment that they have on the tower already?
This is a former company that went out of business and left equipment on our tanks. So to make room for their equipment and also to take extra weight off of and wind loading off of our tanks, it makes sense to have them remove that. It's mutually beneficial.
Good.
D, we were working on we did make a resolution change. We had a resolution to make changes to our code regarding the landfill and the transfer station a couple of months ago. But I still don't think it has the language in there so that we can fine people who illegally dump. I believe it still says illegal dumping is not allowed, but I don't think it defines that.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think what happened was we were working on some code changes to begin with.
Yes.
And then this issue kind of came to light as we were like at the tail end of working through those other code changes. So instead of holding up the code changes that we wanted to make, such as the one-day pass at the transfer station, we move forward with those. And then the next step is to work on the language with the illegal dumping so that we can make that town code. There's penalties and fines for people who come in and illegally dump at the transfer station. So I'll work with Matt and we'll get that
Okay,
started.
this would be hours when it's not open.
Yes. So
Correct.
what ends up happening is people will come and they will leave things that we don't accept after hours when the gates are shut. And we end up having to get rid of it. And it's illegal. Perfect example, our metal container is the lowest container that's down there. People just throw the stuff over to get into the metal container because it's the lowest.
Mm-hmm.
So if we get a mattress in there over the weekend when there's no one there, then it rains. We pay by weight to dispose of the material. So once a mattress is a huge issue for us. So if we have a camera set up now so we can see the people doing it, but we need the legal.
There's nothing in place with the code that allows us to do anything with it. So we're seeing it happen, but there's no penalties that we can do because there's no provision in the town code to allow for us to issue a ticket or some type of criminal summons.
Well, we need to work on that so that when that happens, we can get that footage to the police department and they can go and do what they need to do to cite that person for doing that.
Correct. Did you
Yeah,
have
right
something,
now
Ryan?
they can advise them, but there's no teeth to it. But it seems to be working, but we want to have some more leverage.
Good.
Will that also encompass town-owned property if we post no dumping, like at our recycling facility out in the back, or dead ends with cul-de-sacs? If we put no dumping with a fee on there, would that also make that enforceable as well?
So the way it was discussed was that it was going to be done through the transfer code, but if we're having issues elsewhere in town and we want to have a further discussion on it, then we could make either a separate chapter in the town code that would allow for no illegal dumping anywhere that where it's posted within the town.
Well,
Um,
if we're visiting that, I'd like to have that where if we identify an area, say at some of our dead ends and stuff, we're constantly having to go pick up garbage and stuff. If we're doing that, it would be nice to have the ability to post a sign and have it enforceable.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Does it have to be posted though? Aren't there laws about dumping and littering?
There are, but you kind of have to make the at least code specific to it. I mean, we can have that. I'll take a look at the code as a whole and see where it would fit in and propose some language. Typically, what I do is I draft something with proposed language. We pass it around. We have the discussion amongst ourselves before a public hearing so that we can get it fine tuned before we get comments from the public.
Thank you.
So what I can do is I'll take a look at the code where it would fit into the code. We won't do it then as
Okay.
just the transfer station. We'll do it as a whole. But I mean, even, with respect to stop signs, anything, there's, it's in the code, there's some type of specificity. So I think we'd have to Bill, to answer your question, we can do it, but the language that's used will have to be a little bit more fine tuned and specific, if that makes sense.
Okay, more work for you.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
We'd be interested as well because we have the same issue at our sewer lift stations. People will pull down at the end of the parking lot and just dump whatever they have, and then
Yeah, so it sounds like it's a bigger issue that we need to make a law that applies to more than just the transfer station. So
Right.
we can certainly do that and we can discuss that and where we're at with that at the next committee meeting.
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
thank you.
Absolutely.
The next item is a fence easement agreement for a 2468 Hilltop Road. They want to install a fence that crosses our water easement that's in the backyard there. Dan has the permit, and we don't see an issue with it. It's most of the houses in the neighborhood have the same issue, and they've had fences in the past. So,
Normal stuff we do.
yep. Water and sewer maintenance. Just an update on the sewer lining project in the Country Club neighborhood. There's one section left remaining that they didn't get to last year due to weather conditions. The company shuts down annually for January, and then they start back in February. So they'll come back and finish that one line sometime in February. We've had great success with that project. I have no complaints from any residents over there. It was a line that we wanted to address for many years. Just access was very limited back there. So it's something that I finally can say we've checked off, that I can sleep better at night now knowing that that's taken care of.
All right, you knew it was going to be a tough project, but you went ahead with it, and the
Well, yeah,
relining was the way to go.
The
with
lining is the
that.
way to go, because that way now we don't have to worry about that pipe
Yeah.
any longer. So, item B, the Fillmore pump station. One of the two pumps is in need of replacement. The cost exceeds my authority, so it would require a resolution.
You have this in your budget.
Yes, we budget every year a certain amount in capital for pumps and other things like that.
So does that just need finance, or do we need a reso for that? It
That
looks
would
like
require a resolution.
Okay.
No, it's not a Gorman Rupp. It's actually it's a flight pump. a different manufacturer, different technology. And it's for sewer district 1, not sewer district 6. Pump stations, item C, the Avon Crest pump station, mentioned it recently that we had a power failure that caused damage to the station. Our crews are still working to finish the repair work on that. Some of the parts that we thought might have been damaged ended up not being, damage wasn't as excessive as we thought. However, the repairs are delayed a little bit because of COVID, because the 2 gentlemen that were working on that are two of the 4 that are out right now. So we're doing everything we can as far as the support work for that station, but the electrical work that needs to be done for that we do in-house, we have 2 individuals that we use for that. So they are scheduled to be back Monday.
And how are you doing with the alarm systems and the notifications for that? Has that been corrected and straightened out?
I actually came in, I worked Christmas Eve to make sure that the program, we installed new controllers at that station so we can monitor the what's going on at that station. Even though we're using an auxiliary pump right now, we still get alarming and level indications from that station.
Okay, good.
I mentioned to Ray as well, so the water and sewer maintenance crews are going to be taking part in good housekeeping training as far as pollution prevention and erosion and sediment control next Wednesday at 8 a.m.
So what would you call that training again?
It's they call it good housekeeping, and it's basically for pollution prevention. You know, how to properly dispose of oil, how to install silt fencing and other erosion control activities. The same things that we expect our contractors working in town to do. It holds us to the same standard.
Okay.
Utility billing, the fall 2021 residential commercial utility reconciliation. Christine in our office and Kathy also worked on this as well. The numbers are ready, and we require a resolution to approve that. And similarly, the third quarter for 2021 corporate utility bills are ready for a resolution to approve the reconciliation for those as well. The wastewater treatment plant, an update on the high-strength organic waste program. Dan and I spoke to Aiden Murphy and Mason Burgess from ESG earlier. Actually, it was yesterday. Just go over some of the details. But they are coming in on the 20th of January to train our 4 operators at the plant on the process. Again, just because of the time that has passed and the changeover that we had, the turnover and some of the staffing there. And we're moving forward with the project. So we've got our digesters prepared and working up to get them ready to accept the high strength waste. And speaking with Aiden, he's in consultation right now or he's talking to the haulers right now, and I expect to have some more information on the 20th for some detailed suppliers.
Hopefully soon.
Yes, absolutely. The guidance that the directive I have right now is I want that up and running as fast as possible. So
Good.
now that we've got the DEC hurdle out of the way, I just want to make sure that goes through and we just start utilizing what we have there and benefiting from that.
Get the plant operating for the way it was built.
Absolutely.
So Matt, it's Janet. Just a reminder when that starts that you're going to need to notify me so I can dial into SCADA and download the bills.
Yes, and I was going to ask Seth to possibly come up with a better way to maybe to access that computer for you that it's easier. I didn't know, I know there was sort of a roundabout way to get to that information. So if we can do that, without, it's easiest for you so that you can have access to it as whenever you need it.
Yeah, that would be great because actually the laptop I did it on is dead. So
Okay.
I was going to have him installed on this new laptop, but we'll figure something out. So he and I will get together when I'm back next week.
Thank you. So item B, Dan and I and Keith met with Jamie Malcolm from DEC on the 18th. We had our annual plant inspection. Everything went well. Jamie seemed to have no issues, was happy with the condition of the plant. We're ready to go. We'll have to wait for a formal letter from him, just his summary of the inspection. But the sense that I got from our conversation that he was very happy with how everything is going down there. Dan, what was your take on that? I'm sorry, you're not in front of the mic.
Yes, no, very good discussions, very good conversations with him, walking through every aspect of the plant, and he was pleased with the operation and supportive of the program.
Good, good.
Thank you. Item C, so the delay caused by COVID in civil service testing is finally, they've caught up, thankfully. So our senior plant operator and our chief plant operator received the results from their civil service tests, and they both passed. And because of the timing and because they've been in the position for so long, they're already considered permanent now because of the delay with the testing.
Have we passed that resolution, and do they need a salary adjustments because of these exams they had passed?
There's no salary adjustment because they're still in the same title. It just makes them permanent.
Okay.
And the way I understand it from what Janet was saying, because of the timing, there's no resolution required. I just wanted to acknowledge their hard work, and that Keith and Roger both performed well in tests, and I'm happy that they're now permanent.
Great.
At the water plant, we're still in the process we're towards the end of the design process for the upgrades to the water plant. The schedule date of early March to go out to bid for construction looks like it's going to be met. We're just going through some of the fine details, how we want the final design to look. MJ Engineering has been working with us. Dan has been working with them as well. And Josh Walter, the chief plant operator, has been very helpful as well in this whole process. So we should be breaking ground this spring, and by the end of this year, some of the old technology that's down there, it's been working great for all these years, but it's now served us for its full useful life.
Beyond
Will be
its
replaced.
life.
Yes. Let's see what else. Oh, and I mentioned Josh Walter, the chief plant operator there. He was another one that was waiting for civil service testing. He did also pass his test, but because the amount of time that he's been in the position, he will have to go on. Am I correct, Janet? He will need a resolution?
Yeah, so what civil service states is that if you're in a position and the exam wasn't issued and passed within a certain amount of time of being in that position, you're automatically retained if you pass the exam. So that's what occurred with Keith and Roger. Josh wasn't in it long enough when the exam came up. He has since passed the exam, so now he must be made permanent probationary by resolution.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The last item I have is just putting it out there again that we still continue to look for someone else to work at the transfer station. We have one attendant right now. She's very good, but we want to have two so that we can have some redundancy and then also give Carol a chance to have some time off if she wanted time off. But right now she's the only one down there.
Keep looking, keep looking.
Yes, it's a unique position, but for the right person, it's a good fit. I don't have public comment on here, but I don't see anybody here for public comment.
I don't either. I don't see anybody remotely. Open item discussions. Does anybody have anything else that they need to discuss that's not on the agenda?
Good.
Good. Our next meeting's February 3rd at 8:30. Again, I'm assuming it will still be a hybrid meeting like this. And we'll just keep moving forward best that we can. All right. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.